Richard, let's start with Dallas Young. Saw this 4-star by your buddy Tom Leming, also an On3. That's the one we'll go with because I think he's a 3-star on 24/7 in Rivals. What is Sam Carter, Barry Odom, and the Razorbacks getting in Dallas Young?
Well, he's a bigger corner. He's about 6'1", 185. He could possibly play safety too. At least he thinks he can, and with his size and his speed, and I could see that he possibly could do that if maybe the line at the cornerback position is a little long. We may take a look at him at safety, but I tend to think he'll be sticking at corner. But just looking at his film, he definitely can mirror the high school receivers. You see him. There's no separation with those guys. How does that translate to the SEC? I think Coach Carter and Coach Odom and Coach Pittman and all of them think that it translates well. And you had a good offer list. You had Georgia, Penn State, several others that major Power 5 programs. So good get very early right now, but they got 5 commitments in the 23 class, and I think you're going to see some more action probably in a few more weeks as far as the 23 class.
Richard, I think Arkansas has had success going into Missouri, going into Texas and Louisiana, but I think it's pretty seldom that they go in to get at Alabama and get a 3 or 4-star, maybe somewhere that Alabama or Auburn both want to. Is that what you say is one of the more difficult states in the SEC landscape for the Razorbacks to recruit?
It's pretty much like Louisiana, really. I mean, Auburn and Alabama won't offer all the in-state guys, and even if they do, just because it's an offer doesn't mean that that's a committable offer. So, Arkansas's had success in Alabama in the past. Trey Flowers obviously comes to mind. Quentin Caver, the linebacker that played for Coach Nutt, obviously played in the NFL. Orlando Waters, there's several others. So Arkansas's had success in the past in Alabama. They don't make do a lot of recruiting in Alabama. They recruit the state, but not as heavily as say a Louisiana or a Texas or Oklahoma or something like that. But they're good enough to get 1 or 2 guys out of there once in a while.
Richard, we were talking earlier kind of about the benchmarks and how the early signing period has changed, where you got to be at what points in the calendar. I think it's 5 now that are committed to 23's class. What in your mind, or what are you seeing as kind of the benchmarks of where you got to be? Because in the past where you could end the season and still go get 8 or 10, now the early signing period, if you're not in the 20s, it seems like by the end of the season or maybe even the start of the season, you're behind. What do you work on these benchmarks now with the early signing period?
No, I think you're right on the beginning of the season. If you don't have the vast majority of your class completed, you may be in a tough situation. Now, the only exception is if, say, you're waiting on some high-profile guys, and you're willing to wait till the end of the season, because a lot of times those guys will do that. But if you hope to have at least 2/3 of your class completed by the start of the season, and Arkansas in the past few years have been able to do that, and obviously been able to hang on to those guys and add a few here or there during the season or afterwards. But that now, because offers are going out so much much quicker. You're seeing guys even in the 9th and even the 8th and 9th grade getting offers. You're getting guys on campus earlier, so the process is accelerated, and also, like you said, the early signing period has kind of helped that accelerate the recruiting process even more so, because, for instance, Arkansas is going to be hosting several underclassmen January the 15th, 22nd, and 29th.
And I would guess that Kentucky game is going to be a big recruiting weekend, as we know it will be. These Saturday basketball games is a great way to showcase off the environment on campus. So what's the next big benchmark? Is it the start of spring practice, the conclusion? Where should Arkansas be, say by the end of spring practice?
Spring practice, I could see them having, that's a rough call, but I'd say anywhere from 10 to 15, probably around 10 to 12 by spring or the end of spring practice, and then it accelerate in during the summer in June when you start hosting kids, and also that they'll be hosting kids in the spring too, but they'll also host kids in June also, and then that's when you get the next batch of commitments.
Richard Davenport talking a little recruiting. RD, Sam Pittman made some comments yesterday. It's going to take a lot of guys to replace Traylon Burks, and I don't think anyone was mystified or anything when he said that. But I wonder, from what you've seen from Sam Mbake, Isaiah Centena, and Quincy McAdoo, which wide receiver in this class do you think has the highest ceiling to start out as a freshman and then just their career overall at Arkansas?
Isaiah, you go with him naturally just because he's got that speed. Quincy McAdoo, he's got a little bit more size. He's about 6'1", 6'2", very elusive and very good speed too. And then you got Sam, who's a legitimate 6'2", 6'3", looks like a tight end if you see him from a physical standpoint. I think all of them have their strong suits. Quincy's probably the most elusive of the three, in my opinion, and then with Sam more physical, and then Isaiah obviously with speed. It just depends on which guy adjusts to the SEC game, the physicality, and all that. But you got two of the. Well, no, Sam will be coming in the spring, so Quincy will be the only one going through spring practice.
When the class of 2023, we mentioned kind of Dallas Young and just who they've gotten. I know people are really excited about Shamar Easter, the 4-star tight end out of Ashdown. You've got 5 guys currently committed. How's this class shaping up, not just in-state but out-of-state, with the connections that Sam Pittman and his staff are starting to establish with that class?
Setting up really good because, like I said, they've been able to get some guys committed to come visit them in January, and several of those guys have already visited several other times. So, whenever you get a guy visiting 2 or 3 different times, the chances of you getting that kid is obviously much better, and that just allows them to see the campus more, and obviously get to know the coaches. As far as the relationships there, and it just gives them more of a comfort factor, and also sometimes one parent's only able to visit one time, but the second time the other parent's able to visit, and a lot of times you get multiple parents on campus, and that also helps your odds too because they feel comfortable with the coaching staff and also the environment of the program.
Richard, I want to ask you about the King Cotton Classic being back in Pine Bluff. This was a big-time national tournament back in the day. We were talking a day or two ago about the time Jason Kidd and Corliss Williamson squared off. What does this do to showcase Arkansas's high school basketball? What kind of a recruiting event is there? We've seen pictures of coaches. Just some of your general takeaways from the King Cotton, and maybe tell us about some of the other bigger, high-profile events that go on in this state that people may not know about.
Yeah, well, with King Cotton, I think like what they were able to showcase the last 3 days, several of the high-profile prospects. That's also going to help them going forward, and when they start recruiting other, programs for future events, they're going to say, "Hey, look, Khalil Ware played in this tournament. Nick Smith, Darian Ford, this guy." So that's a big thing there, and it also obviously promotes the game of basketball in the state, which already has a great following, and you see the quality of basketball just keep on improving. But I think it just the future is very bright, and I think the people that they have running it, from what I understand, is it's a high caliber event. And as far as some of the other events, I'm not going to lie to you. I've taken a few days off. I know several other events have been going on, but I haven't been paying much attention to them.
Yeah, I know there's one coming up in Northwest Arkansas in early January, the Hoop Hall Classic, that's going to bring some national teams in. I don't know if you're familiar yet with that, but I think that's another great showcase, and maybe the last final big showcase event in our state that's coming up January 6th, 7th, and 8th at Bentonville West.
Yeah, no doubt. And there's been you get the interest level that you have right now in the game of basketball with Coach Muss and the program, and then obviously some of the high caliber athletes that have been coming out of the state. People are interested in seeing good basketball, and when you're able to bring a product to your community, it's a good event for everybody involved.
Richard, before we let you go, I saw you put this on the Whole Hog Sports message boards. The bumper pool horse at Oaklawn. Want to share something about that? I was blown away when I saw that yesterday.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be two bumper pools performing on Saturday, one in Tampa and one at Oaklawn in the second race. And Jeff Poole, Bumper's dad, knows the owner, and I don't know the full story. He just shared with me about Bumper running on Saturday at Oaklawn. But it's a neat thing. I think a lot of people remember Hunter Henry had a horse named after him too. So we'll see how that. And I think he did pretty good.
Yeah. And there's a horse named McFadden.
There's been some other racetracks. Yeah. So I did look at some of the workouts of Bumper Pool. As far as the horse, and looks okay. Nothing to write home about. It'd be interesting to see how he runs on Saturday. But I think a lot of Arkansas fans would be putting money on him, and I know his dad is.
He's a gamer. He's a gamer. He'll show up when the lights won't be on, but you know what I mean. So he's a gamer.
There's been horses that I've looked at the form and said, "Oh my God, look at these workouts," and then that doesn't translate too well as far as the race. So we'll see. Hoping for good things, because I'll be betting it just for the heck of it too.
That's awesome. Richard, appreciate your time as always, man. Enjoy this game this weekend, and we'll talk a little bit about it, and hopefully Arkansas will get some good recruiting news following in next week.
Sounds good, buddy. We'll see you guys.
All right, Richard Davenport with us here. Our final visit of 2021 with Richard here on a Recruiting Thursday.
Has you covered for all the holiday season. More props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline remains your #1 spot for all sports action. Head to our new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus with the promo code BELIEVE to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV to receive your bonus. And it's not just football. BetOnline has pro and college hoops, NHL, boxing, UFC, even your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all these amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports.